Hey Rider fans, and welcome to the Bronx Hot Seat, our show that gives you an up-close and personal glimpse into some of Rider students and athletes. I'm your host, Karen Torsha, and today we have a very, very special edition of the Bronx Hot Seat. Now you might think because we're so close to the holidays, it's going to be a holiday episode and things of that nature, but no. We are today here to discuss the very fascinating story of Kevin Noon. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering, what is the fascination with Kevin Noon? But, for those of you that don't know, he is the newest member on the men's basketball team as a senior. And again, you're probably sitting here thinking, well, why is Kevin Noon a new member of the men's basketball team if he's a senior? I've seen him in street clothes on the bench for the last 3 years. But the story is, for the last 3 years, he's been a manager, and this year he is a walk-on on the team. So today we're going to talk to him a little bit more and get a little bit more about his story and find out just how that came to be. So without further ado, we'll get the story going, and I'd like to officially welcome seniors from the men's basketball team, Kevin Noon and Jeff Jones. And I need to point out that Jeff Jones used to be the host of this show until it was decided that it actually runs much, much better and much more smoothly when I do it by myself. So don't try bogarting my show right now just because I have you back as a guest.
Got fired.
Yeah, he knows the drill, obviously. But I'm going to just kind of ask you some questions, take you through a little bit of the history of you becoming a walk-on, and then we're going to take you both through the hot seat. So don't think, you're going to sit over there and sweat for a little while. And don't think that I didn't come up with some very special questions for you, because I know you like to just change up any question that I ask people.
I'm ready.
All right, so Kevin, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about your story. You were a good player at Cherry Hill West.
Correct.
I did watch your highlight video on YouTube yesterday. If anybody wants to see it, there is a Kevin Noon Cherry Hill West highlight video that is on YouTube. I think it's about 12 minutes long. It's kind of a repetitive loop of the same 4 shots, but it is interesting viewing. Did you have an interest in playing basketball in college, and where were you initially looking to go?
Coming out of high school, I was going to play at a Division III school. I was recruited Division II and Division III. I was going to go play at Washington College, which is in Maryland. It's a small school in Chestertown. Went up there and planned on going there, and then decided I didn't really like the school academically, so I came to Rider and planned on transferring after my freshman year, and came in sophomore year, planned to transfer after my sophomore year as well, and kind of got the manager's job, so I just kind of ran with that.
So ultimately, how difficult was that decision for you to not pursue your dream of playing college basketball?
It was very difficult, more difficult because I always loved being around the game, loved playing the game, but my ultimate goal is to coach college basketball. That's what I've always wanted to do, so I figured with the manager's job, that would kind of lead me into that, be a good way to get my foot in the door, especially at the Division I level. My high school coach told me that if you can get involved in college basketball, stick with that, because that's always a great way to get into coaching. So I kind of didn't give up, but put the playing basketball dream aside and kind of ran with the manager's job.
Mm-hmm. So now you spent your first couple years here as a manager, as we said. How did you get involved with that initially? I mean, did you know that the team was looking for managers? Did someone call you, and what were some of the responsibilities of that position for you?
My roommate and I, Andrew, who's also one of the managers now, we actually saw that Rider was playing Kentucky. I believe it was my sophomore year when they had John Wall, and they were number 2 or 3 in the nation. So we drove up to Kentucky, 11-hour drive. The athletic director, Mr. Harnum, he gave us tickets to the game. We had emailed him. When we got back, the managers from Rider had quit. So we went in there and kind of inquired about the position. Coaches asked why we wanted to do it. I told them I had an interest in coaching, and they gave us the position, and kind of just went from there with it. Some of the duties we had to do, starting off, was mainly just managing the clock, being in practice. Sometimes we had to wipe sweat off the floor if a guy fell. You don't want them getting hurt and losing out on a scholarship.
You didn't have to do their laundry or anything, did you?
No, we didn't have to do laundry. So we leave that up to foreign guys, Mr. Barrett, Zuma, and Junior Fortunat. So other than that, on the game days, we'd have to make sure everything was set up, pack the bags for away games, make sure the jerseys were packed.
Movie selection? Does that still fall on the managers or no?
Movie selection is Daryl. Okay. Daryl picks the movies. Trying to get that a little fired though.
Yeah.
His movie selection isn't too great.
So in terms of transitioning from a manager to a walk-on member of the team, now I do have to point out you're not the actual first former manager to be a walk-on. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Okay, Ben
And-
Brewer,
yep.
for anybody who doesn't know, Ben Brewer was a manager of the men's basketball team, and in the 2001-2002 season, Mr. Harnum, who was the head coach then, actually made Ben a walk-on. His situation was a little more unique than yours because he was on a golf scholarship as well.
Okay.
So he could dress and practice with the team and travel and everything, but he could never actually get into a game because he was on
Oh,
money
really?
for the golf team. So technically you're the second manager to become a walk-on, but you're the first one to actually to get into a game. So how exactly did that transition actually happen? You going from a manager to a walk-on? Did you just kind of, one day they just said, hey, we're going to make you a walk-on, or how did that come about?
I was playing pickup with the guys, Jeff and Novar, during the summer. They would play pickup at night, and I was living about 40 minutes from here in Cherry Hill, my hometown. So I drive up here, play pickup, and kind of just earn the respect of the guys. And they mentioned to me, why don't you try to walk on? And I said, yeah, I don't think the coaches would really go for that. And they went in and talked to the coaches, said, he's been working hard. Why don't you take a look at him? And the coaches were thinking about putting a walk-on in the team. We have another one as a freshman, Emerson Bursis, number 20. So went into the coaches and kind of triggered a conversation between me and Coach Dempsey, and kind of took it from there.
So what's been the most difficult thing to adjust to, since technically you haven't really played on a team in about 4 years, other than maybe intramurals or playing pickup? So what's been the biggest adjustment?
The biggest adjustment was definitely the speed of the game. I was thinking, I still have some of what I can do from high school, and coming in here, these guys are a lot faster, you can jump a lot higher. First day of practice, Jeff tried to dunk on me, and it was the first time I've ever been dunked on. And he came down, he's like, welcome to the big show. And I was like, oh man, so.
Now, what about the preseason workouts? Did you, the first, I know Chip runs some very difficult workouts. I've seen him. He's always telling me I should jump in with you guys. And there's been many guys that I've seen thrown up in the trash cans. How did you handle those?
I thought I'd be fine. I've always loved running, but after that first Chip workout and the first couple 10-and-1s, I went in the locker room and I was sitting there with my face in my hands. I was pale white, and John Thompson goes, what's wrong? He goes, we got pickup to play. So we got to play pickup, and he's like, yeah. I was like, I just feel like I'm going to puke right now. It was hard, but it got easier as it went along, and definitely paid off when I got into practice.
Good. Now, I know your parents have come to a lot of games over the years when you were a manager. In fact, they were on my flight with me to Pitt last year when I came out when the guys played at Pitt. How excited were they when you told them you were actually going to be on the team this year?
They were excited at first. My dad said, don't tell anybody, just in case it falls through. Don't tell anybody. So we kind of kept it on the DL for a little while, but they were very excited. They watched the games in a little different perspective now. My dad said that last year he'd watch the games and he always wanted us to win, but now that I'm a player, when we lose, it kind of hurts a little more from him. When we win, it kind of makes him a little more excited.
Right. And you've actually gotten into a couple of games this year. You've gotten a few minutes here. Now, that's probably not your real role to be on the court. What is your role as a walk-on, and what do you think the coaches expect for you? I know we rehearsed this question, so.
My role as a walk-on is definitely to be an energy guy in practice and in games. I like to view it as the bench leader. On the bench, you got to get everything going, get the guys cheering. Basically be a positive influence on the floor, off the court, get good grades in the classroom. Just to be an ultimate team player, work hard every day. One of my greatest assets to the team is just going in and helping these guys get prepared for games, running the scout team and running the opposition's offense. So other than that, it's just really being an energy guy and being a good locker room guy.
Good. Okay, Jeff, we're going to bring this into you because we don't want everybody thinking you're just the pretty face sitting on the couch over there. So I know you were one of the key individuals in terms of making the suggestion to the coaching staff that Kevin become a walk-on this year. But what did you and I guess it was Novar as well, what did the two of you see in him that made you believe he'd actually be an asset to the team? Especially because in your case, you had just transferred from UVA and had only been here a year. So you'd really only been around Kevin for last year when you were just here to practice and things.
Right. Look good here.
Nah, Kevin always was a good guy, and I think it's a testament of his hard work. Always see him in the gym. He was always a gym rat, so he was always determined. And I think that was something that could be an asset for our team. And I went to Coach Dempsey and I asked him, will it be any chance if Kevin get on the team? And he said, well, you the leader. He said, if that's what you want, and I'll give Kevin a call and I'll talk to him. So I thought it was great, man. I thought he would be a great asset to the team, and his energy and the fire he brings in practice, I think, really helps us.
So once they actually took a look at him, I mean, obviously you gave him a suggestion. Doesn't sound like you had to do a lot of convincing for them to look at him. Do you think they saw a lot of the same things that you did once they actually did take a look at Kevin
definitely.
playing?
I mean, first day of practice, he was one of the most vocal leaders on the team. So that just shows how competitive he is and how much he loves the game. I mean, he was one of the loudest guys out there. I think that shows a lot.
How has he done so far, and what do you think has been the most difficult thing? Now, we asked him, he said the pace of the game was the most difficult part for him moving from manager to teammate, but how's he done so far, and what do you think might have been the biggest challenge for him to adjust to?
Left-hand layups.
Nah, I think he's been doing great. I think everything in practice he's been doing great. I think just the difficult practice we have sometimes, the length of practices, and how many times a week we go, he had to adjust to, but he adjusted well. I mean, as the season went on, he's adjusting well. He's still one of the vocal leaders on the team, and I think he adjusted real well. He's doing great.
Do you think, has everybody been really receptive to the change on the team? I know sometimes, some of the guys might have said, oh, he's a manager, we don't have to respect him as much, but, it seems to me that he's become, just like any other teammate to you guys.
Yeah, and I think he's the same guy as he was last year as a manager. He's the same humble guy. He's the same cool cat. So I think nothing's even changed, so he's just the same guy.
Good. All right, well, now that does it for my Kevin Noon, manager to walk on / slacks to short story, which we'll get to later. So now we're going to get to know both of you a little bit better.
All right.
And I'm actually going to put you on the hot seat. Now stop laughing. Just because you know how this works, Jeff, you are not immune. So I'm going to start with you, Kevin.
All right.
Okay? If you were stranded on a desert island and could only have 2 things with you, what would they be?
2 things with me. I'd have an airplane so I could go anywhere I wanted.
Okay, no, that doesn't count.
What?
You're stranded on the island. You can't go
All right.
anywhere. You're on the island. He's not listening to the question. Listen to the question. You are stranded on an island. 2 things.
2 things. I'd have my cell phone
Mm-hmm.
and my family.
Okay, good. If you won millions of dollars in the lottery, what's the first thing you'd do with the money?
I give part of it to my family, and then I'd put it all in savings.
Wow. Really? You wouldn't buy anything?
I'd buy a couple things.
Okay, what would you buy? We gotta make this interesting.
Buy myself a nice Beamer,
Okay, there you go.
Ryan Thompson style.
Yes, I've seen that car. He says Jason bought that for him, but anyway.
Then Jason Thompson
Yeah.
style.
Well, since it is the holiday season, what is the best gift anyone has ever given you, and who was it from?
Best gift anyone has ever given
And
me.
you know that all your friends and family are going to be watching this, so you better think carefully.
Well, I've always asked for a dog ever since I could say it, and I've never gotten it. So, Mom, if you're watching this, I'd like a dog to get you for Christmas.
Any particular kind?
A nice little pit bull, Rottweiler, or
Oh,
something like
that's
that.
nice.
Little mix.
That you can't have in the residence hall here, so it would have to stay at home in Cherry Hill.
I'll pay the fine every week.
Okay, okay.
Best gift I ever got. Man, this is hard.
It's the hot seat, rapid fire. Think of something.
My mom gave me one year, and my dad was a box of gift cards to all my favorite restaurants and like Best Buy, Barnes and Noble, stuff like that. So, kind of got
That's
to pocket
actually
some
a good
money for a
deal.
while.
That's a good idea. That way you don't have to worry about getting things that you don't really want. All right, your last hot seat question. Who has the strangest pregame ritual, and what is it?
The strangest pregame ritual. Well, there's some guys in the locker room that don't brush their teeth. But we're not going to get into that.
Oh, you don't want to name any names?
No,
There's
no
multiple
names,
guys?
no
Jeff, you wanna
countries.
name names?
There's some guys.
Some guys,
Plural.
they might be from another country, but we're not going to get into that.
Oh, interesting. Ever? They don't ever brush their teeth, or they just don't brush them before
Once
the
in a
game?
while.
Okay, good.
So we tend
Hey
to
guys, okay.
Weirdest pregame ritual. Man. Every time Coach Dempsey comes into the locker room, you're going about 14 minutes before the game starts, and right before he's finished, Novar Gatson always stands up, and everyone else is still sitting, and he kind of gets all bobbly and stretches his legs, and it's like he gets that extra pumped up for like 1 minute. So I'm always like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you sitting
Are
up?
you going to start doing that?
No, I just got to sit on the bench and clap and
Okay.
put some energy in
I
there.
expect to see a lot of that out of you tonight. All right, Jeff. Ready?
See if
These
it
are
changes.
special. These are special
Yeah, more than
questions
two
for
questions
you.
now, too,
These are
so.
special. You can't change them. Don't think once I give it to you, you can just make up your own question because you don't want to answer it.
I'm ready.
All right. Number 1. Everybody is afraid of something. I will tell you for me it's spiders, and it's very well documented that I don't like clowns. Everyone knows that. Tell me one thing you're afraid of.
The guys on the team don't laugh about this because they know what it is. But it's not that I'm afraid of them, but I just like cats.
Cats?
Cats, I can't do it. I think it's my mom never liked cats, so naturally I don't like cats, so it's just cats.
So if I put a cat in your locker, what would you do?
I'm getting
Would
dressed.
you run the other
I'm getting
way?
dressed in the gym. I'm getting dressed in the hallway.
Okay, well, we will make sure there are no cats milling around. Okay, what is the weirdest thing you've ever seen in a player's locker, either here or at UVA?
Weirdest thing, probably a banana peel by Darius Zuma. A little banana peel. I was like,
Was it
it's
in
been
there
getting
for a long?
changed. I looked and there's like 2 banana peels in there, so I'm like,
Do you not have trash cans in your locker?
yeah, that's what I was thinking about. So I picked it up for him, being a good guy that I am, and stewed away from him. So that's
Nice.
kind of weird.
All right, now obviously since you're from the Philly area, obviously you probably had your share of cheesesteaks. So this is a standard question,
Yeah.
Geno's or Pat's?
Chinos.
Oh,
come on,
you know
man.
Pat's?
I'm a Pat's guy.
I'm a Pat's guy.
I'm a
Pat's,
Geno's
2
guy.
votes for Pat's on this one, only 1 for Geno's. Geno's, I can't do like the whole, I need the meat chopped up.
Nah, it's good for me.
All right.
I'm definitely a Chinos guy.
Last one. Since it is the holiday season, what's the most expensive Christmas present you've ever bought for someone other than a family member, and who was it for?
Most expensive?
You know, a lady type, perhaps?
Most expensive?
Uh-huh.
Probably my brother. Gave some Beats by Dre.
How much were those?
They
No, other than a family member.
Other than family?
Yeah.
You're not
You didn't
listening-
listen
you're
to
not
the
listening to the
questions
questions, Mr.
either.
Jones.
What is
Trying
with you two?
Because that's the most expensive gift I ever gave. But other than that, I don't think a great gift, it doesn't rely on expensive money. It's all about the thought that counts.
Oh, very sweet.
When you get one this year, you can get me a pit bull.
Yeah.
So,
Kevin,
yeah, I
name
might
what's a
think
pit
about. I might
bull?
give my boy Kev Pitbull. But
What would you name that pit bull? You know,
name
hoops,
pit-
baskets, buckets,
His name is Chase.
Chase. Okay.
Philly's second baseman. Chase
Oh
Utley.
yeah, Phillies. Okay. All right.
Philadelphia.
Well, there you go, guys. You are now off the hot seat. So I do want to extend a special thank you to Kevin Noon and Jeff Jones from the men's basketball team for joining us today, and best of luck throughout the rest of the season, guys. I hope everybody will continue watching the show. We've added some additional video footage of a documentary called Kevin Noon From Slacks to Shorts, which was done by current team manager Sam Siegel. So it's definitely worth a watch after hearing the answers to some of our questions today. So for more information on Rider Athletics or men's basketball in general, please visit our website at www.gobronx.com. I'm your host, Karen Torsha. Thanks for watching, and go Bronx!
Sets me off to a full long child. Yes, it does.
Kevin Noon just wanted to go along for the ride. That ride was being a part of a Division I college basketball team. And for 2 years, Kevin was a part of Rider University's men's basketball team as a student manager. Just a kid in the background, being seen but never heard. Until one day, the dream that he thought died suddenly came true. This is the tale of that dream. Kevin was born and raised in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. A 3-year captain of Cherry Hill's varsity basketball team, he chose to attend Rider University originally with the ambitions of possibly leaving to pursue playing opportunities elsewhere.
Coming out of high school, I was recruited to Division II and Division III schools. So I had planned on transferring to those schools.
But then a road trip with a friend led to a unique opportunity.
We found out that Rider would be playing the University of Kentucky at Kentucky. So we both looked at each other when the schedule came out and said, want to go? Both decided to go. We got our tickets on StubHub and drove down there, 11-hour drive.
We watched the game there, and then the managers had quit from Rider, and we inquired about the position, and they gave us the position, and kind of just took it from there.
And take it from there they did. Kevin and Andrew spent 2 seasons as team managers for Coach Tommy Dempsey's Rider men's basketball team, doing the time-consuming, behind-the-scenes tasks that, while contribute to the team, often go unnoticed.
We're here a half hour before practice setting up, over a half hour after practice cleaning up. And game days, we're here an hour and a half before tip-off.
While the trivial tasks of being a manager may deter some, Kevin took to the position, further increasing his passion and motivation towards reaching his goal of becoming a college basketball coach. That is something that Coach Tom Dempsey believes can be quite beneficial.
I think the manager route is a very good route for a guy that wants to be a coach, but maybe isn't physically gifted enough, athletic enough, whatever it might be, to play basketball at this level.
Despite not having typical Division I talent, Kevin's work ethic caught the eye of some of Rider's players. And those players, seniors Novar Gatson and Jeff Jones in particular, went to Coach Dempsey proposing quite an intriguing opportunity.
Last year, we had no walk-ons. We had a lot of injuries. Practice became very difficult in the second half of the year. So we decided as a staff that we were going to look into adding a walk-on or two. Once some of the guys on the team found out that we were going to take a walk-on, they suggested that we take a look at Kevin because he had played with them all summer.
A couple guys on the team, me and Var especially, see how hard Kev was working during the summer, and we decided to go with the coach and ask if he could join the team from all the hard work he put in the summer.
And those guys being senior leaders, and you know, if that's what they wanted, I thought it was a good opportunity for me to at least explore with Kevin if that's what he wanted. So that triggered a conversation between Kevin and I, and then ultimately this is where we landed.
Where it landed for Kevin was on the team, not as a manager, but on the roster as a non-scholarship walk-on player.
I remember when he called me, it was probably in first, second week of August. I was on vacation with my family, and my phone starts ringing, and it's Kevin. I was like, what the hell? What's he want? So I answered, I was like, hey, what's up? And he's like, dude, I have something to tell you.
Well, you know, I'm not going to be managing next year. And he's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So I was like, yeah, well, I'm going to be a walk-on. And he didn't believe me at first, but you know, he does now.
And he's not the only one, as Kevin's ascent from manager to walk-on has garnered attention around campus, adding to the list of what has been many highlights to Kevin's senior year. At the top sits a point happening with about 2 minutes left in Rider's first match of the season, when Kevin checked into the game, officially becoming a Division I basketball player.
It was like a dream come true. It was like a kid in Disneyland. So, I mean, it was really a neat experience, and it still is.
A senior walk-on from Cherry Hill and Cherry Hill West. Just onto the floor. Here's an opportunity for Noon.